What's cracking, everybody? So, um, it's Sunday, and I'm about to go and do a whole bunch of stuff, run some errands, and take care of some things. And but I wanted to get a quick vlog out before I did. This was going to be. I had this article sent to me by a sub, and I don't know if she's a sub of mine. I hadn't looked at my sub list, but I'm pretty sure she was a sub of DelicFlower's. She sent me a PM with an article, and it was a great article because it was right after Heather made the drone vid, and I considered doing a vlog, a response, and posting it to her video. But you know, a lot of things happen, and got caught up doing this work and other things, and just didn't do it. So now, Kaz has made a response video to me and talks about the technology, and you know, he has the Iron Man comic book that kind of discusses the application to attack from remote locations and things of that nature. And he talked about the misappropriation of funds and things like that, and all the money that we spend on these types of unmanned technology, space, air, ground. Okay, you get the gist. So I'm going to read some of this article for you. Now, this is about a week old. It comes from the New York Times. And by the way, I'll go ahead and put her link down in the box. This was from a user by the name of DelicFlower. 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 She had said right after she'd watched mine and Jack Luck's video, she thought of me, thought of us, and she said, you know, this is a good article. So it was a really great little find, and some of you may have read this, may have seen it, but I'm going to go ahead and just kind of go through some of the gist of it. It's basically ties right into the reality of the ways we're going with our tactics, as far as the way we wage war, the battles that we're fighting now are on a much higher level, a much different level than they were than with a bunch of ground troops and tanks and things like that. And so this is an article from the New York Times, and I just wanted to throw this out there because I'm not, you know, certain people are going to have issues with the New York Times and not, you know, look, it's all mainstream media, but and some of the verbiage in here is kind of interesting too. But it basically says, secret assault on terrorism widens on 2 continents. At first, the news from Yemen on May 25th sounded like a modest victory in the campaign against terrorists. An airstrike had hit a group suspected of being operatives for Al-Qaeda in the remote desert of the Marib province, birthplace of the legendary Queen of Sheba. But the strike, it turned out, had also killed the province's deputy governor, a respected local leader who Yemeni officials said had been trying to talk Al-Qaeda members into giving up their fight. Yemen's president, Ali Abdullah Saleh, accepted responsibility for the death and paid blood money to the offended tribes, because that's how they do things. The strike, though, was not the work of Mr. Saleh's decrepit Soviet era Air Force. It was a secret mission by the United States military, according to American officials. At least the 4th such assault on Al-Qaeda in the arid mountains and deserts of Yemen since December. The attack offered a glimpse of the Obama administration's shadow war against the Al-Qaeda and its allies in roughly a dozen countries, from the deserts of North Africa to the mountains of Pakistan, to former Soviet republics crippled by ethnic and religious strife. And the United States has significantly increased military intelligence operations, pursuing the enemy using robotic drones and commando teams, paying contractors to spy, and training local operatives to chase terrorists. So they're doing a lot of things, of course. We saw this with Al-Qaeda itself. It was originally trained by the United States, funded by the United States to fight Cold War era Soviet Union against the Soviet Union. So it talks about the CIA, how they intensified their drone missile campaigns in Pakistan, approved raids in Somalia, in Kenya, and North Africa, and just a whole bunch of different areas. And of course it says, while the stealth war began in the Bush administration, it has expanded under the President Obama, who rose to prominence in part for his early opposition to the invasion of Iraq. Virtually none of the newly aggressive steps undertaken by the United States government have been publicly acknowledged. Instead of the hammer, in the words of John O. Brennan, President Obama's top counterterrorism advisor, America will rely on the scalpel. The scalpel, ladies and gentlemen, which they've been using they've been using the scalpel for many, many, many years in many places, unbeknownst to many of us. In the speech in May, Mr. Brennan, an architect of the White House strategy, used this analogy while pledging a multi-generational campaign against Al-Qaeda and its extremist affiliates. Multi-generational. Some of the verbiage that they use in the article is always interesting. Now it also says Yemen is now the testing ground for the scalpel approach. And some American officials believe that militants in Yemen could now pose an even greater threat than Al-Qaeda's leadership in Pakistan. So regardless of the who and what, the campaign, the tactics are being beefed up, increased. And using drones is not really something that's new, but it's starting to become more mainstream. It's starting to become marketed so it can be accepted. Like when we gave our rights away after 9/11, people were willingly gave their rights away for the sake of safety and comfort, which they got none of. It was false safety, false comfort, but it was quickly scooped up by our government and their campaign with the Patriot Act and the FISA bill and so many other ridiculous pieces of legislation and methods to counteract and fight terrorism, the war on terrorism. Such a thing does not exist. There is no war on terrorism. It's a fucking sham. And if we didn't laugh about it sometimes, we'd probably all be in really bad shape. So, that I thought was an interesting article. I'm going to post it up as a video response to Kaz, my friend. Thank you for making me the video response. As always, a very compassionate look and a great kind of delve into the psychological side of things. Why Kaz is great about looking into why people do what they do. He looks for a deeper meaning than actually just reporting what's happening, being upset about it. He really kind of delves into why are we looking in this direction? What makes people think and do the things they do? Our country, our government, our officials, things of that nature. So Very cool stuff. So there you go, Kaz, and everybody else. Have a great Sunday, and I'll see y'all fairly soon. Peace.